The All Smiling Faces podcast is now sponsored by Tyre Spot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hi everybody, welcome back to the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel and podcast. We are here for a live reaction this afternoon. So as always, if you do have any questions, fire them our way and myself and Deka will go through as many as possible. Deka, it's again? Again?
It's getting a bit too regular, this isn't it? I think
it is, but it's not wearing anything.
We won, you know.
Get in,
man. Get in.
So we were sat here last week being happy at the potential of Newcastle sat in fourth come Christmas, going in the World Cup. We're sat in third, mate, with another scalp of one of the Premier League big boys.
Yeah, you know, we've spoke almost every week now, but you know, when you feel like there's like statement wins along the way. I felt Tottenham was one of them away. That was a statement win. Again, I always try to find it's some of the ones that are on TV. I find that I like that. But obviously this one was a huge one. You know, Chelsea, it really was. Obviously, of course, the importance of it going into the break. Mm-hmm. You know, you were off now for a while. So to get that win, it just establishes you of like, you know, we are really good. We are really good.
Very, very good.
Yeah.
It was, and I know we're not even halfway through the season yet, because we still have Arsenal to play. I don't think we've played an Arsenal fixture yet.
No, I haven't played them. No.
So there's a few that we haven't played yet. But every performance which we are getting right now as a football club, especially with a victory, is completely different to the last one. We saw, and we will go through the match in a little bit of detail, but we saw how determined and driven these lads are in the last 5-10 minutes of that Chelsea game, because they battled for that. Chelsea didn't like it.
No.
And there's been a few kickoffs on Twitter by pundits saying that Newcastle used dirty tactics, but it was very similar to was it the Leicester game that time when there was just challenges flying in left, right, and centre?
That was the clips of that game was saved for years.
It was very similar.
Yeah, it was. I think it was a strange one because I honestly, like for about 80 minutes, you know, I thought we were just a better team. And listen, it was a tight game, wasn't it? It was
a better team without really creating any chances.
Yeah, I did mention that a lot. That I was sitting watching the game I was sitting with Gareth, and I said, like, haven't really had a shot yet, have we? Do you know what I mean? But I felt we were in control of the game throughout the game. But the last 10 minutes, which we'll come on to probably in more detail, but the last 10 minutes, we showed another side of the game that we have. We don't just work hard and we're pretty and we move the ball around nicely. We can bully teams, or we can really. I think to say it was dirty, I think it was dirty.
It's a stretch,
it wasn't dirty, was it? It wasn't dirty. I just think
some hard challenges going in.
Yeah, fair challenges that were hard. Don't get us wrong, but I mean, obviously they were saying more time wasting. I disagree with that. Botman was trying to carry on. It was Botman that kept going to ground. Yeah. But eventually Botman had to come off. To be fair, I was wrong here. In the opening few minutes, maybe 5 minutes, Loftus-Cheek went down now, and here we go. Yeah. They're trying to break the play up and stop the fans, and he went off injured. That was fair, you know what I mean? And Botman also went off as well. So I wouldn't say we were like wasting that. And they got 7 minutes as well, by the way. What was that about? Come from? 7 minutes?
Yeah. I think Chelsea made like about 4 of their subs in one swift move anyway.
Yeah. I just couldn't get that.
Just because you mentioned the time wasting there, I know this is going to be a bit all over the place, but you mentioned time wasting. Nick Pope wasn't really time wasting, and he got a yellow card. He had the ball for about 3 seconds.
It was discussing that.
What was all that about?
Well, I was at that end. He didn't even have the ball. He actually went to see if Shea was all right because he was holding his hamstring, and he literally walked, went, "Are you all right?" Bang, yellow card.
Yeah.
And I felt that the officials were wanting Chelsea to score the last 5 minutes. You know, everything was going to them. Did you notice when we were making the subs? He was literally up the arse, get off the field. He was literally as if he had a bet on them. It was as if he had Chelsea 1-1 or something.
It was like a proper like. I can't find the words without being offending somebody, but the referee was
Don't offend anyone.
Geordie's have done enough offending this week, so I'm not doing anything. I think he was shepherding the likes of the players off the field, but how many times do you see a goalkeeper do it where the opposition striker will put the ball on the touch on the box front, and then the keeper will take his time, pick it up, move it to the other side of the box. Nick Pope didn't even do that. Like you said, he took a few steps away from the ball, and the referee didn't give him a chance. Right, there you go.
It was mad. It was mad. Like, don't get us wrong. There's a few times where goalkeepers have done that type of thing, and we've said you've got to act earlier as the referee, because you book them in the 94th minute for time wasting. Well, that's ridiculous, because the game's over. You should be doing it earlier. But the way he did that earlier was shocking. Like, and I really felt. I said they got a free kick, which wasn't either, by the way, right at the death. And I said to Gareth, I went, the way it's going, anyone falls down, he'll give a pen. I just had this horrible feeling that, like, the ref and the linesman were just wanting them to score.
Would know Nick Pope has time wasted in the past.
100%.
And we will be the first ones to sit here and admit that. He didn't yesterday. He didn't yesterday. Far from it.
I didn't.
Which is why I was so shocked.
I honestly didn't think we did as a team. Yeah. I just thought we were hard. Like, Joe Linton was getting stuck in. Longstaff absolutely clattered someone out wide. Brilliant. Burns tackle, which we'll come on to. Like,
Bruno fell into somebody, swiped his leg.
the two-footed one of Bruno, but have you seen that one?
No.
Oh, that's naughty. It's bad, mate. It's horrific, actually, if I'm being honest. But anyway, we'll come to it.
We're talking about time wasting, and it came to bite us on the arse against Liverpool. And like we said, we don't know where those 7 minutes came from yesterday, because I didn't think we were time wasting as such. Yes, we slowed down the play a little bit, like every other team does, but not to the point where people are offended by the time wasting.
We scored, and forgive us, it might be wrong. Was it around about the 75th minute, 70th minute, 71st minute or something? Was scored, and there was absolutely zero time wasting from either side in that second half. You know what I mean? Maybe the last 10 minutes it got a bit, I wouldn't say backs to the walls, maybe a bit too harsh, but yes, the last 10 minutes were kind of sat in a little bit and were being hard, being tough. But I wouldn't even think we're wasting time then either. So when the 7 minutes went up, you could hear the ground were like, hang on here. Where are you getting 7 minutes from? Like, but to be fair, Chelsea could still be playing now and wouldn't have scored. Yeah. That's how good we were as a team.
Moore came out with some blinders yesterday. One was about the 7 minutes. He made this weird little screech noise when that 7 minute board went up. And at one point he said somebody done a spinning back heel. Don't really know what a spinning back heel is, but he dropped that one into conversation as well.
These are funny.
But let's start with some more key points in the game. Obviously, Monday night is coming out, so we'll be covering a lot of this on the Oversman Faces podcast. One of the major talking points, Wilson not starting. Did that worry you at all? Because I know Chris Wood got his goal the week prior, the previous fixture. I'm not saying it worried us, but I'm a hell of a lot more confident with Wilson on the field, because I think it was clear to see that Wood didn't have much involvement in the game. Yes, he was chasing the balls down. He was active. He wasn't obviously lazy or anything. Far from it. No. He was committed to the cause. Didn't touch the ball many times.
No, he didn't, and I think I wasn't nervous. I wasn't worried that Wilson wasn't playing. But if I'm being really honest with you, if it was, let's say it was before Howe was here and Wilson wasn't playing and Wood was on, I'd be, oh Christ, do you know what I mean? We've got no chance to win this without Wilson. So because of the belief that we have in the sort of the extra that I was getting out of players, even when Wood was on, I was like, oh, well, he still do a job. But you can tell that the lack of quality up there is huge, isn't it? And I think he maybe touched the ball 5 or 6 times. And to be fair, there was a few times where I thought, we're playing the ball into his feet. And he still couldn't control it, or he was just getting knocked off the ball. And I'm thinking, that's your moment, mate. Like, you're not going to get many touches as it is, but if that ball's getting played into your feet, it has to stay. It has to stick. And he did. I thought he did struggle, if I'm honest. But ironically, it didn't matter in the end. But I think Wilson. I heard Howe saying that Wilson's been training away from the group, so it could be COVID. I was thinking maybe he's.
So, were you not here when we discussed this the other day? That
I don't know. Might have been. Can't remember.
Got a message on. So it was last week before the Southampton played last week?
It was, yeah.
So before the Southampton game, he travelled with the squad, but apparently had COVID at that point.
All right.
Obviously started. Yeah. Then obviously the photos afterwards, he's covering his face.
Yes.
With the likes of a snood and that. So at that point, I'm thinking 100% COVID.
Aye, yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it. You're allowed to be in the team. You're allowed to play.
Yeah.
So that's fine.
Yeah.
But yes, obviously, I think shows probably it has been that.
Aye. And you just don't want, if Wilson's not able to be fully fit because of it, you just don't want him to pass that to everyone else, right? You just don't. So, and if he wasn't ready, then so be it. I mean, one thing I will say, it definitely means he's going to the World Cup because obviously clearly he's not going to be hurt. So, but yeah, it was a bit of a shame.
I'm not sure how true this is, but Alex has sent in saying Wilson 100% has COVID when he left the Southampton game. He got into a taxi and didn't travel back with the squad.
Oh, okay. Oh well.
So it's a telltale thing there, isn't
absolutely,
it? I think we all knew that. One of the other key talking points, which, like I said, we'll cover it tomorrow night because I think this one will cause a few fireworks. Penalty.
Oh yeah.
Penalty appeal.
Yeah.
Is that a penalty in your eyes or not? In mine, that it would be very, very harsh if that's the other side.
We normally disagree on pens, so
okay. So I saw it obviously at half time because it was just before half time. It was just getting played over and over again on the TVs on the concourse. I don't understand where that player is supposed to put that hand because that's the hand that he's trying to protect himself with by falling.
Yep.
It's his balance hand, really. That's his support hand.
Yeah.
I don't see where else he's going to put it. Yes, he stops the ball from going further into the box, but I wouldn't be happy if that was the other way around.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. So I actually went for a piss and I decided not to go back to my seat and I thought I'll just watch the next, the last 5 minutes or whatever, just on the screen. And obviously the handball happened. And everyone that was in the sort of concourse area was like, it's handball, it's a disgrace. And I was the only one, I think, that was standing there going, well, where's he meant to put his arm? Like, he's not going to, you're not going to fall to the ground where your arms fall. You're just not the hand. Anyone in the world who falls down is going to put the hand to save them. They just are. And 100% it hit his hand, but that's not handball. Like, it's just not. There was a few appeals, obviously, of course, the crowd were. I mean, I came back to my seat and Gareth went, hey, that, from where we were sitting, that definitely hit his hand. I said, oh, there's no question it hit his hand.
Yeah.
But again, you've used the kind of the thing I try to use is if that was Dan Burn stopping Mount from across, I'd be furious if that got given as a handball. Furious. So no, to me, it's not.
There's a few comments there coming in. What you mentioned there towards the end of the game, where it felt as if the officials wanted Chelsea to score. If that happens in the box in the dying minutes, for them, probably gives a pen.
Probably, yeah. It did. I swear, I will say again, it did feel that way to me. That I just felt every little thing was going their way, almost corrupted that way. Like literally, just the yellow card for him, mushing people off, free kicks everyone again. And I'd probably right if that had been handball, he may have given it. But no, but honestly speaking, I've seen it. As you say, from every single replay, and I'm thinking, nah, that just
it's more of a consistency sort of thing, though, because you will see that given in a different game.
Yeah.
You will see it.
Yeah.
Even though we both think it's not a penalty, but
I think if he said yes, do you think VAR says no?
Nah.
No, probably not. Nah. So it's it's a strange. It is a difficult one, but I'm all about it being in a natural position. And like, for example, I know I said about Ashley Young's where he slid in, but his arm is in the air.
Yeah.
I mean, in this one here, I mean, Christ, I mean, the lad's going to ground. He's obviously going to put his arm down. He just is. And I know it hit the ball, but not for me.
There was a few shouts as well that I heard at half time saying last week Botman was challenging for the ball with his hands behind his back when Southampton were in the box. And it's different when you're stood on your feet and defending to when you're sliding something like that. Of course there is. Like, you don't have the ability to put your hands behind your back if you're sliding in because you're just going to hurt yourself doing it.
Actually, I'll reference the Ashley Young one again then. So they've got Ashley Young going to ground. He's got his hands in the air. Penalty. Your hands in a natural position. This lad goes to the ground, has his hands on the floor. Handball. So where's he going to cut his arm off then?
Yeah.
Where am I going to put my arm? Like, so do you know what I mean? Like, for me, it wasn't. And again, my main reason as to why is if that was Dan Burn or anyone, Trippier, however, I would be furious if that was given against me.
Yeah. No, I'm in agreement. Like I said, tomorrow night, I don't think
people
it's going to be the same.
People saying we're wrong.
No, it's split. To be fair, actually, majority are probably agreeing with us. There's a couple saying that it's a stonewaller. I would argue against it being a stonewaller. Stonewaller is when you physically move your arm to stop the ball.
Yeah, I think.
And there was a few shouts of that at halftime as well in the concourse saying, "Oh, he moves his hand towards the ball." He doesn't like he doesn't.
He doesn't. But anyway,
but
it's mad, isn't it? That's football for you.
This is why. This is why. Yes, we're being a bit harsh, but I'm not saying we're being harsh on this referee. He deserves it. But officials do have a tough job. Because if we're sat here, and I know for fine well tomorrow night on the podcast, there'll be people disagreeing again.
Yeah.
So we can't decide as Newcastle fans.
Yeah.
How is a neutral official gonna decide?
Yeah, you're right. It's very, very difficult because he doesn't give a penalty. I agree with it, and there's probably 45, maybe even 50% of people think it was a penalty. It's very tough. Like, but yeah, for me, it's not, and no one's opinion would make a change on that one.
So, first half performance. Happy with that?
Yeah, I thought it was a really tough game, a really tactical game. You could say both teams cancelled each other out, but not. I wouldn't say it for a bad reason. It was just I just felt it was two really good sides, and I appreciate Chelsea haven't been playing very well here. Over the last few weeks,
changes as well, weren't there?
There was a few changes, but I honestly thought there was two competitive sides out there. We looked the better team, but we just lacked that final bit of creativity. And listen, I'm not criticising any single player on the pitch because I even said this at the time. I wouldn't even know who I would have taken off. I just felt inside that there was a few times where we got the ball out wide, and I was thinking, I wish Maxi had been going out that fullback at that time. Obviously, we had Joe Linton who played excellent. Joe Linton was outstanding. He's just obviously not as dynamic as Maxi is. So there was just at times in the first half I was like, I wish we had Maxi on now for that moment. But no complaints in the first half.
There has been a question about Saint, but we will get onto those at the end of this recording. So, like I said at the very start, if you do have any questions, send them our way, and we'll go through a handful at the end as well. If you're a member as well, obviously, we're going to go to your questions first, so you can become a member for just $2.99 a month. So, yeah, I'm the same as you. First off, I think we could have done as best as we possibly could have, because it was a very, very tough game, and both sides were struggling to create any chance.
Yeah.
I think they created one, which was a decent save by Pope, but I can't remember a chance for us, a clear-cut chance in that first half. I really can't.
No. There was only once I remember we worked it quite well, because obviously it's far away for yourself, but Longstaff got played in, and I thought he could have shot, if I'm being honest, but he went for the sort of across the box, but there was never actually a chance as such that got created. So.
Yeah. But second half, we'll come out, and it's much of the same, to be honest with you. I think we controlled that game throughout.
Yeah, I felt the second half we were turning the screw more as it went on, and I felt that we were forcing Chelsea into more mistakes. They were kicking out of play. We were getting the tempo up. I just felt we were building and building and building as the second half went on. To be honest.
Yeah, and I think we'll get on to the goal, because it's from Almiron again. I know it's Willock that scores a goal, but Almiron to keep control of that ball, because it's bouncing on Aldershot. He even heads it down to himself at one point, and Willock is just in the perfect, sweetest spot that he needs to be in. So he just snatches that ball from Almiron's feet and just goes, "Thank you very much." And as soon as that ball hits his foot, you know for fine well, just by the flight of the ball, that's burying.
It's a beautiful strike, isn't it? Beautiful strike. And as you say, Almiron, the speed that he's always been quick, but he just seems faster now. Like the way he comes inside. So, and as you say, the ball's bouncing all over the place. He's running so quickly to be able to touch it, knee it, head it, all in one motion. Everything. Almost. It's ridiculous, really. And as you say, Willock just runs onto it perfectly. So
sweet.
It's unreal. I mean, the keeper doesn't stand a chance, and it was just what we deserved as well. I thought the second half were absolutely brilliant, all across the pitch, man, all across the pitch. And I was really happy for Willock, because I actually thought Willock had a very good game. I think he had a great game, so I was really pleased for him.
Yeah, it's Willock. We've said a few times that he takes a while to get into the games and get flown in the games, but the last couple of games, it's been different.
Yeah, it's been from the start. It really hasn't. To be fair, and listen, I don't want to upset anyone or anything, but I didn't think Bruno played very well, if I'm being honest. I thought he was quite poor, actually.
A couple of times he got dispossessed quite easily.
Yeah, quite easily. And there was a few times in the first half, again, I was sitting at end, he's overhitting passes in for Almiron and Trippier twice. But I think what's amazing about that trio, right, is that Bruno didn't play well, okay. I thought Longstaff and Willock were brilliant, man. Longstaff was excellent. And I know he's not technically as good as Bruno.
No prisoners yesterday, like
none. And I think, I don't know if it was Dan or someone put it on Twitter, he's probably still running around now. Like, Longstaff's engine, man. I mean, he played on Wednesday as well. His engine, his fitness levels are unbelievable. He was up and down that pitch. He was playing right wing. Next minute, I seen him popping up on the left. Like, he was just everywhere. So, real credit to them too. Out of them three, them two have really shouldn't be accounted for yesterday.
They have done. They really have done. And I want to give credit to the likes of those lads that are on the cusp of going to a World Cup tournament. You couldn't tell that yesterday.
Oh,
especially
agree
Bruno.
More, yeah.
Like Bruno, I know he got dispossessed a few times, but he was up trying to get that back at left, right, and centre.
Yeah, 100%.
And obviously that challenge that goes in at the end, he can probably do himself more damage than anything else.
Yeah.
And
well,
it's great to see. It really is.
You look at who's going, for example. So you'll see Mason Mount, for example, Conor Gallagher. God almighty, man. He was awful yesterday.
He was. So the thing with Gallagher, he was all over the field. But pretty shit everywhere on the field.
To be fair to us, like we never give him a chance. Like there was a few times he got the ball. There was one again, sorry to say, but right next to where I was, Bruno just absolutely bossed him, and it went out for a goal kick. And then Bruno was like sort of geeing up the fans, if you like. Every time he got the ball, someone was right on him. Like either it was Longstaff or it was Willock or whatever. And you know, listen, I'm not suggesting for a second that Longstaff or even Willock for that matter should be going to the World Cup. I'm not saying that, but what I am saying though is, on that performance yesterday, if you just sat someone who never watched a game, you wouldn't have believed it was him and Mount that were going to the World Cup. You might have thought it was them. Do you know what I mean? So that's testament to them. Really.
Do you think that was the difference between us and Chelsea, that maybe some of the Chelsea players weren't that arse because of that World Cup tournament coming? I would hate it if that was a Newcastle player, and I was saying that about a Newcastle player, saying that they've obviously got one eye on the World Cup.
I don't know, but I don't think so. I just honestly feel that we were that intense. Like
I'm just saying it with the back of the Man City defeat as well with Brentford.
Yeah,
they've got a lot of players, but apparently Brentford. I didn't watch the game. Apparently Brentford absolutely battered them.
They were great.
Didn't give them a chance.
They were great. They really were great. Yeah, because I watched it. They were excellent. I actually felt, to be fair, after watching that, I felt a bit sorry for Tony, if I'm honest. So I thought he's been left behind. He scored too, but no, I think you know, listen, football's a funny game, right? And I still say that you've just got to switch off for a second, and teams will make you pay, you know. And that's something that we're not doing in the old Newcastle. We would switch off. We would switch off, and what I'm finding now is we just don't. We just don't.
So before we go through a couple of the questions which have been sent in, there's a couple of other things which I want to mention. Lascelles on the sideline, having being a bit of a shit house to Cucurella. Great to see. He actually got booked for it. But he was obviously just putting him off, slowing him down, play, just giving him a few nudges and digs and that, and saying, "Nah, I'm not budging." Like,
it was funny, like
it was really great. Funny. That was the other side of the field to me, so I didn't see everything which was happening, but you could tell.
Yeah.
You could tell what he was up to.
He didn't necessarily do much, but he was just close enough where he shouldn't have been there.
In the way.
Do you know what I mean? He was in the way, which was funny. I was laughing at him. It was great. Yeah, it was
great. And secondly, the full-time whistle goes, and the commotion which was caused by Havertz, I want to say again, Dan Burn and Havertz. Obviously, they've got history. Them two with the elbow, which Dan Burn received last season.
That was a shock on that as well.
This should have been a red card. Also, all you deal on that. But it was great to see the team absolutely get stuck in, even at full time and that. And I love this Newcastle United side because they're so lovable as fans for us, because it's that tight knit that they've got between each other, that unity that they've got, and that connection that they've got. I couldn't tell you the last team where I've seen this.
Well, do you know what's really funny? You were talking there. I think you were reading the question out, and I was just looking along the table here, like the programs, and I'm saying there's like Peter Biadzi, Batty, Albert, Ferdinand, and I honestly in my head thought, I think I love this team as much as them ones. You know what I mean? And I never thought I'd ever feel that way about a group of players, you know, because them were the best in my opinion, you know. But it's funny you say that. That's honestly like we are really, really falling in love with this group, you know. And of course wins do that and all the rest of it, but there's a real sense of team spirit there. And what I've really enjoyed is listening to the players. I mean, I listened to Shea's interview after the game. He was visibly a bit like I was last week, didn't have the words to express how amazing it is at the minute. And he said, I've never felt this way before. Like, and he's been here for years, right? And he's never felt this way. We've never felt this way for years. Like, and Trippier as well. I watched an interview again from yesterday saying he doesn't think he's been playing better football at any point in his career than now,
which is mad.
And I'm like, wow, like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's really good. It's really good. It really
is. The atmosphere on St. James's Park yesterday, it was loud. It always helped by a bad referee. It's always helped.
It always helps by a beer filled, because it's R5. It's extra time, you know, to drink. But it was rocking. It was really rocking.
It was loud. It was loud.
Very
Felt
loud.
a bit sorry for the fella playing the trumpet.
Oh, bless
That
him.
went by the end.
I did, didn't I? I was like, oh, yeah. It looked lovely. It looked great as well. And I actually loved how they moved the display to the A stand, obviously for the cameras and stuff. I thought it looked absolutely tremendous. So credit to War Flags again for that. Was amazing.
Just absolutely knocked it out the park once again.
Yeah.
Let's go through the questions. And this first one is from Andy Hamilton. That says, how are the hangovers? Me and Mark stayed out for a few hours after the game. It was a handful of it out, and I'm all right.
You okay? I went back. The lads were playing poker, and 3 of them were Mackems, so that was enjoyable. It was really good. And in fairness, all of them were like, "Listen."
They got a decent result the night before. To be fair,
they did. But as soon as I went in, they were like, "Yeah, like you're unreal." Like, what can you say, right? You know what I mean? And obviously, I was trying to have a bit wind up in that, but no, it was.
They're not biting though, are they? Have you noticed this? They're not biting anymore.
No, they're just depressed. They don't really want to talk about it. That's the thing. Like, because we obviously got into like football and that, and it then came to us again, and they were asking me a few things, and they were like, "Oh, just do you want to happen?"
This is the thing people that don't know. Most of you probably will, but me and Deka are from South Shields, which is our friends are probably like split right down 50, the middle. Obviously, you've got Sunderland fans and Newcastle fans, and you used to always have that bit of banter, and you used to like wind each other up.
Yeah.
I don't feel as if that's happening as much anymore because they're not biting any longer, and obviously they realise the position that we're currently in. The only thing that they come back with now is blood money, sports washing. Yeah. That's the only bite that you get now.
Yeah, occasionally. I think as well, what I found quite strange is like, not that we're going to go on about these, but like even me mates, but when they've won, I mean, I had a great result the other night, but they don't even talk about that. In all the group chats I'm in, they never mention it because I think they just know like the gap is so wide. They just rather not talk about football, which is mad, but
which is fair enough. Fair enough. It's
fair
because we're doing so well, mate.
I did have a lovely kebab though after I had the beautiful doner kebab. It was lush.
Garlic,
3 tubs of garlic.
Actually,
I had chili, but I didn't actually open it. I just had 3 garlic instead. So yeah, I'm surprised you can't smell this from here, to be honest.
Next one is from Andy Hamilton that says, do you think we can go unbeaten at home this season? We've played City and Liverpool. We've played City. Liverpool still need to find their form. Only Arsenal are the concern. We turned them over last year. I think we can. There's nothing saying we can't from what we're saying. We're good away from home, but we're very good at St. James's Park.
Well, I think we have. St. James's Park is now what the old Trafford used to be, or what people think Anfield is in terms of like you don't want to go there. Like there was everyone that used to go to Old Trafford back in the day, never won. And I think we're becoming that without question. What I would say though is that that's a bold remark to make. I mean, obviously you look at Man City got beat off Brentford at home. Who the hell would have thought that? Football's a funny game, but based on what we've seen and what we know we are, let's be fair. Like, who's going to beat us, right? Like, we could be anyone.
Had a couple of, I don't want to say bad performances at St. James's Park, but we haven't. But we've seen teams come and try and stop what we do. So we saw it with Bournemouth, we saw it with Everton as well. Tried it. Villa even tried it to a certain extent.
Then we battered them. And Palace was a 0-0, which probably should have won. But again, we struggled in that game.
Teams have tried to cancel out, but what you lose from those teams doing that, it takes their opportunity to score a goal as well. So I honestly think we could. I'm not saying we will, but there's a higher percent that we might.
There's no reason why I should say no. I mean, because we're absolutely unbelievable at home. Absolutely, we're unreal, man. Like the results, the stats, the previous fixtures prove that. So there's no reason why we can't. It's a tall order, though. It's a tall order. But there's not a team. I'm not saying the world, but there's not a team certainly in England that would want to come to us. Simple as that. No way. No way. I
agree. I think we've covered this a few times, saying that no team wants to play this Newcastle side, home or away, probably.
But I think definitely likes of, some of the Chelsea players would have thought, up there at 5:30 on a nighttime game, the place is absolutely bounced. It's completely different to James's than what they're used to.
Fair play to the Chelsea fans as well, because they sold out like.
Yeah, they're also
full allocation.
But they did. Yeah, they were all because we left.
Didn't hear a peep like, but full allocation.
They were quiet, weren't they? They were more louder at Big Market. There was loads of them going off the metro.
There was loads of scrapping as well after the game. Man. Pack it in, man.
There was loads.
Just pack it in. Loads of scrapping.
I was at me and Gareth were walking to the ground, and there was I'm talking like maybe 200, 300 fans, and I thought they were Newcastle fans, and they were singing because they didn't sound Cockney to me, so I thought they were. But then I heard them saying, "We've won it all." I was like, "Oh well, that's not us."
Not us.
I definitely, and they were like walking towards the ground. And I was thinking, "Fucking hell!" And then we got to the ground, and me and Gareth we were just chatting away, and we were actually in with them. I didn't realise, but we were. And then again, well, I've won it all. I went, not
yet. Joining in.
So we just walked the other way. But yeah, unfortunately, the end of the game wasn't nice either. Obviously, people fighting.
Yeah, seeing that far too often at the minute. Seems like every game there's all some bit of trouble.
But I don't think it was us either. I think them have just came across the road and just started kicking off.
Yeah, similar to what happened with Everton.
Everton fan, yeah. Leeds did it as well. Leeds were kicking off. Like it's not on. Like
next question is from JDF that says thoughts on Murphy coming on second half over Maxi. Still not fully fit, or think there's something not right there. I just don't think that Saint would have been the right option coming off the bench because we needed that graft defensively as well.
For me, it was a tactical change. If we were 1-0 down, Saint comes on, something like that.
100%.
But the game didn't need him.
And Murphy deserves it.
Oh, he's done no wrong. No, not at all. And you know you're going to get the graft, aren't you? As you've mentioned, you know for a fact he'll fill in and he'll come back and help, because it was Target at that point. Because obviously Botman, I think, went off and Burns shifted across. So no, it made perfect sense. I mean, there was a few people around me said like, "Oh no, Maxi," but I was more of the point of at this moment in time we don't need Maxi, we don't need creativity, we just need graft. We need to get back in shape and see it through. So.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that's all that it was.
And you look at the picture after the game, by the way, of Maxi. Can I just add, the team photo? He's got his top off and he's front and center as if he scored the winner, which I loved because he didn't have any part in it at all.
Yeah,
so I loved that. It was
nice, much part in it.
No, not at all. No.
A lot of this season, most of it.
Well, you've just beaten. People might say it's not a great Chelsea. You fucking beat Chelsea, right? You beat Chelsea and we had no St. Maxim at all. Bruno didn't play very well, and you didn't have Wilson on. I mean, that's just ridiculous, man.
It was nice to see Bruno with a smile on his face as well in that team photo compared to last week's in the cup game, because he was not happy.
No, but I will mention one thing. I don't know if anyone noticed this or not, and I don't know if you've seen the comment that I posted. And again, I'm not saying there's something up here. I'm not, right? Before anyone kicks off and says, "Oh God, here he goes." But I even took a photograph because I was really shocked at was scored and Bruno walked straight back the halfway line, didn't go and join with the fans, and with the players, and he just stood on the centre spot with his hands on his hips while everyone was celebrating. Found that really strange, because I thought Bruno would have been the one.
In his brain, he's probably still pissed off.
Maybe
that he missed the penalty. It
was just strange.
I think he's just very hard on himself.
I think he is. I think he is. He definitely. Obviously, it's a player that we're fine with that, but I think he's a player that needs to feel the love, like you know what I mean. And obviously, we'll give him that in abundance. You know what I mean. But it was just interesting.
Next one is from Karamona. I'm going with. Says what opposing players have played well against this squad? I feel like our lads make a lot of players look average. That's a really good question. That
I
can't think of any top player which has came to St. James's Park and impressed. Because obviously there was everything about Haaland coming and things like that. Yes, he got his goal. Yeah, he did. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
I might need time on that one. But it's a good point, though. That does prove how good we've been.
We'll come back to this one during the World Cup.
Yeah.
We'll come back to this one.
Because honestly, I can't remember coming away from here. He looked a good player. Yeah.
If anybody watching, if you've got any shouts, throw them in the comments and we'll have a look. Yeah. See, we'll agree.
Question.
It is.
Sorry, we couldn't give you an answer.
Very tough question. Very good, but very tough. Yeah. But I can't think of any off the top of my head. I really can't. This one, we'll make this one the final one. This one is from Mike that says, how much would you change in January? Obviously, we know what positions we wanted to do, but didn't do that in the summer. So, yeah.
It's, I actually got, last night, one of the lads he asked us this question. He says, like, what would you change in January? And I was thinking, nothing. I know that sounds absolutely ridiculous to say, but even if you sign someone, they cannot come in that team. They cannot come in that team. Now, there's obviously still rumours here. Madison, for example, now, of course, you don't know what kind of World Cup he's going to have. He might not even be involved very much, but you never know what might happen with that. Leicester have picked up a little bit, so I'm not sure if that rumour's still got...
I'm not even sure what his injury is currently like, because obviously he went off injured yesterday.
I did, didn't he? So, a little bit more depth, I think. I still think Wednesday night, for me, did show you that the depth's not really maybe there as I mean, he's made 8 changes. You're hoping you never have to make 8 changes in normal life. Do you know what I mean? No, not life.
I'm more that side of the fence, not necessarily that the depth of the squad isn't good enough, because I think a lot of players proved that the that can come in and do a job.
Yeah.
I think that was, if a handful of your players get injured or suspended, I think we will struggle with big changes coming into the team.
Yeah.
One in, one out, I think it's fine.
Yes,
but if there's a few, 3, 4, then that's when you're going to struggle.
Me personally, the one I would love to see will get done is a right back. That is an improvement on Manquillo, because Trippier. Can I just add here? Everyone I've sat here and said I think Maxi's our best player. All the rest of this is time gone by. A lot of people say Bruno is. It's Kieran Trippier. Like, it's Trippier. He is the absolute man. Him. Like the tempo that he sets, the standard that he sets, everything he does. And I think if we didn't have him, I'm not saying it would be dreadful or anything, but some of these results wouldn't have been winning these games, like, because he is so important. So I just feel if you lost Trippier and Manquillo comes in, no offense to Manquillo, but
it's because it sounds like FIFA Ultimate Team this, but you're losing that creativity between those three, aren't you?
Oh yeah, but yeah, everything, leadership at the back, that creativity, him moving forward, because sometimes he's like a right winger.
Set pieces as well. Once again, so different corners again this week.
Yeah, we only had a couple, but they were all dangerous again. He, honest to God, he is amazing, and pound for pound, probably going to be the best signing we've ever made. Probably. I know it's easy to say that now because it's now, because I always thought Rob Lee would be personally, but I think Trippier will take some beating. Like, he's unbelievable. So maybe somebody strengthen right back. I think to the point. Sorry, is in January. I think it's more about just picking and choosing what area to strengthen in. But as the team is at the moment, it's hard to say. Oh well, we'll buy a midfielder and Longstaff doesn't play. I don't really think you can do that.
So Blue Rhythm Boy mentions Emil Kraft. I think you're referring to, you mentioned Manquillo, but Kraft's currently injured. Yeah,
which does make it difficult if you sign someone and then Kraft does come back with 3 right backs.
Exactly.
It is difficult. I get that. Maybe could you loan? I don't know. Could you loan someone? I'm not sure, but it is a difficult one. That yeah, it is.
I think that's just done, mate. Last one, there's one that just came in there, and that is also from Blue Rhythm Boy. That's his man of the match.
It could have been 3 or 4. A lot of people give it to Joe Linton. I'd give it to Trippier, because there was a load of times in the second half where I actually kept saying that was class. Actually, I said it. I kept saying it all the time. There was one. I don't know if anyone's seen the highlights or not. But the guy for me was clean through. He was coming towards the goal, and Trippier somehow managed to catch up with him, just sweep the ball away from him, and he gave it to Bruno, who then lost it, and the lad nearly bent it in the corner, and Pope saved it. But that defending from Trippier there was just amazing. Like, I give it to Trippier. But it could be anyone.
Big shout to that challenge by Dan Byrne right at the end as well.
It's a tackle.
Fuck.
I shouted, snap him. Just, almost time stood still before you went in for the challenge. You knew.
Flying in.
Flying.
I think he knows he's winning that ball, but he goes flying in. Like,
the ball goes. It's unbelievable before the ball goes. But the cheer, it was like we scored a goal, man. It was unbelievable, the cheer from the crowd when that happened. But
this is what I mean. It was very similar to that Leicester thing, where it's just every player just throwing the bodies on
because Longstaff clattered someone. It was a bad challenge, really. Clattered someone over there, and then
that's a free kick all day long.
And then the ref played advantage, and then Byrne just absolutely cleaned house as well. It was amazing. It was brilliant.
I love that when a referee plays advantage, then just as he puts his hand down, somebody just goes and absolutely clatters someone. Thank you very much.
It comes back to what you said though about winning different ways. Like we can play the pretty football, we can score goals, but we also know how to be a bastard.
Yeah,
which is great.
It's great.
It's
shit house.
It's great.
I'm getting a lot of enjoyment out of this, a lot of enjoyment. That's us done. So thanks everybody who has tuned in. Nearly 200 years today. Mark's not here, so I'll say it. If you do want to like the video, it helps us out massively, and we'll appear on other people's timelines. And get across the Newcastle United fan base. We want to enjoy this moment with you guys as well. And we'll be back tomorrow night for the Always Smiling Faces podcast. There's obviously not going to be any match previews for a few weeks in regards to Newcastle United, but we'll still be here. We'll still be doing things. We'll have a few World Cup shows in there, but we will be predominantly Newcastle stuff. We normally struggle to fill content in these sort of breaks, but it's very hard filling content when Newcastle United are shite. It's not going to be very hard because we are absolutely flying at the minute. So there's always something to talk about at this football club. Like the video. If you want to subscribe, it costs nothing to do that. If you do click the bell as well, you get notifications whenever we go live or a new video goes out. Like I've mentioned at the very start, if you do want to become a member, it is just $2.99 a month. It helps us out massively with the upkeep of the studio and everything else which goes on behind the scenes.
It's pretty, isn't it? It's lovely, isn't it?
It's very pretty. It's very pretty. I don't think this camera angle does enough justice.
No, maybe not.
It's full of Newcastle stuff in here. It is.
Actually, the strippers on that side of the camera, it's amazing.
Thank you very much. Been a pleasure as always. Deka, sign we're out with those special 4 words.
Well, when you know, get in.